I'll allow you your time. When you also said something about structures and not individuals, I thought when we talk about corruption, structures all by themselves don't pilfer, don't steal, don't loot. It is individuals who come to alter even structures and pilfer and loot. So we must be looking for individuals, groups, associations, parties that have taken the nation's money.
When the director of the IMF came, one of the suggestions she made is what I've always advocated, and that is that we cannot fight corruption or do anything without legislation, without proper structures. It's a waste of time. Because I tell you, after the Suki, there'll be more and more.
So what do we make of it?
It'll happen. We need to change the laws and abide by the law. I'm going to give you an example.
But that doesn't mean we should let go of
bring that up again.
Good.
I have said that there's no need, nobody is saying we shouldn't pursue those. We have to look beyond that as public affairs analysts and leaders of thought in the community. Because this thing is becoming so sensational. And now everything is Dasuki and Dasuki, whereas we are not even, after Dasuki is gone, after we recover 400 billion from one source. There are other problems. There are people in the National Assembly who will find a way. They are in a position to keep on looting the country.
What do we make?
So we need to change these things.
Just a moment, sir. What do we make then? Because you talked about policies. What do we make then of the TSA, for instance? The Treasury Single Account.
Well, we need to give it time to see how well it will work. Right now,
isn't that a policy?
Yes, it is. But very, very, its workability, its efficiency is under serious challenge right now. But that's a policy. More of that needs to be done. Now, I'm talking about before people get to the position where they can begin to loot, there must be ways to screen them out. For instance, you are running for Senate. You have a case with the EFCC, or you have a case pending somewhere. Your whole character, your integrity is doubtful. It's common knowledge that this person is a crook. All sorts of problems. Next thing you know, they're in government. And then we say we are fighting corruption.
Shouldn't we throw that at the feet of political parties? Shouldn't they be able to make such decisions as to what kind of candidate they'll field or not?
No. If you do that, you're not going anywhere. Political election funding, it should be changed. Because if you allow, by law, individuals to fund political parties, then forget about everything. Because when they get there into office, they are going to take money to take care of the expenses they have invested. You have people, you have governors, they have their security votes, they have internally generated revenue, they have federation account, and they are using it to fund political parties. Is it only the PDP that's doing it?
Let me ask you
they're all doing it. Unless you change those laws, we're not doing anything. This is sensationalism. This thing about Dasuki. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Don't you think
it's 400 billion sounds like a lot of money. The Nigerian annual budget is 6.
It isn't?
Not when you compare it to 6 trillion.
All right, but don't you think that at the
we
same
need
time,
to put things in perspective?
Politicians, he knows that it's clear he's been elected for 4 years. And so if he focuses all his attention on fighting corruption and not on developing all the sectors of the economy. I mean, you politicians know these things. As soon as you win, you plan for the next one. So he should know, too, that, look, at the end of the day, he will come for another period. If Nigerians deem it fit, they will go ahead.
You would assume that he knows.
Make that mistake?
You would assume that he knows, but evidently we look at what is going on and it doesn't appear that he knows. Because he was trying to get saints to be ministers for 5 months. In the meantime, nobody was manning the ship of office. And the economy is in it. It's part of the reason where we are now is because we are not focusing on what should be. There were no ministers. The budget that has been released for 2016 is a sham of a budget. Everybody in the world, every expert is laughing at this budget. And the reason, part of the reason is that
But the
The
budget
ministers
I
hardly,
heard that
hardly.
the
passed by the
IMF
National
okayed
Assembly.
the budget.
No. Did
The
you
IMF
read? Did you
didn't
read?
okay it?
Did you read Lagarde's comments? She did. Okay, the budget. Everybody is budgeting. They're using the revenue allocation. They are using $30 per barrel of oil, $35 maximum to calculate their revenue. We use $38 a barrel. First, we're gone off the mark. Yesterday, the crude oil was $30.
I'm glad that you're putting things in perspective.
Yes.
Because you just talked about how we should put 400 billion naira in perspective of a 6 trillion naira economy.
Sure.
But, you know, some people will tell you that that 400 billion naira is the budget of like 3 or 4 states put together this year because of how slim our resources are. So when we say that we're putting things in perspective,
That
for the fight
budget was supposed to be
against
used
corruption.
for buying arms. So the point we're making is that's the budget for buying arms. And then I
It's
think
still
some
putting-
of you
it's still-
observed
it's
this
still putting
before.
things in perspective,
The
because
money,
if you're
these
talking about-
$2.1 billion, it's as if Dasuki just took all the 2.1 and dumped it into, distributed it among PDP supporters, and not a penny was spent on arms. The arms that they are using to fight now, and they claim that technically they've defeated Boko Haram, who bought those arms? It was the same Dasuki who bought those arms. So we've only been able to account for about 15 billion out of the 400 billion. And I would guess that at the end of this exercise, after wasting all this time and everybody is talking about it as if it's the end of the world, we are going to maybe account for 20, maybe 30 billion out of the 400. You'll find that Dasuki has actually spent the rest of it in purchasing arms.
What do we talk about? I mean, the prosecution of other people, for instance, the ex-DG of Nimasa and the alleged fraud that, you know, was said to have gone on with, you know, some payments to a former ex-militant. What do you make of that as well?
Every effort to curb the excesses of individuals is more than welcome. I approve it, I support it, I applaud the president for what he's doing. All I'm saying is that, number one, the fight must not be selective. Two, it must not be done in an abusive way, in a way that you would disobey the courts, the law of courts. You know, when people say the courts are corrupt, there are always corrupt judges everywhere in the world. There's some that are corrupt. But the law, they say the law is an ass, because sometimes what appears to be clear to you may not come out the way you think in law. But you still have to respect the law.
Now,
So look at what they're doing now. You know, they're saying justice delayed is justice denied. Then now they're going to arraignment too. Good. But after keeping him in detention for about a week, they said they did the same thing to Dasuki. That's harassment. And at the end of it, the case against these people may not fly because they have been judged already.
But do you think if,
by EFCC.
if all of these cases are proven in court,
Yes.
should your party apologize to Nigerians?
Those individuals who are guilty and found to be guilty will apologize to Nigerians.
Not
It is
your
their
party.
responsibility. Well, the party would apologize, but ultimately, it's not a party policy for these things to happen. You know, because
Are you satisfied that so far we seem to be getting some results? Some monies have been recovered.
that's fine. Again, put it in perspective. Out of 400 billion, so far we've been able to recover maybe 10
Isn't
billion.
that also an indication that truly some Nigerians stole our monies?
Of course.
I mean, you don't go
Of
to your,
course,
you,
when
you don't
the-
you don't you don't
you know,
take out of your money
all we are saying
to give to
is,
someone else
look,
when you're not guilty.
Look, all we are saying is, first, they should take into court, follow the due process, prove that they are guilty, and do everything. The court will do everything to collect the money. They work out a payment plan if they don't have all the money and so on. They have a way of doing this. That's all we're saying. Follow due process and don't be selective. Let it be broad. Why is it now that it's
would you
only
say
people
the fight has been
who are-
selective so far?
I believe so.
Do you buy
And it also appears vindictive.
Do you buy the argument? I mean, from the chairman, the current chairman of the APC, was speaking, and he said that the APC had not been in government for the amount of years that the PDP has been in government, and that's the reason why, if they're looking back in the books now and picking up PDP officials, it will seem that the fight is selective. Do you buy that argument?
No, because the funding of political parties, which is really what this Dasuki Gate is about. You take government money that's supposed to be used for the government, used to develop the community in one way or the other, and you channel it to your party. As we said before, Dasuki has channeled some of that money, not 2 point. It's not possible, because we'll never see that. Now, the same thing happened in APC. It may not be at the federal level, but at the governmental level, at the state level. Where did the governors get money? Is it not state money that they used to fund APC? I mean, how did the president think they funded his own primaries or funded his election? I heard maybe it's just rumor. But the social media yesterday posted a report that a PA of the president has been found to have $850 million in his account. And if it is so, the guy is supposed to be, his father is supposed to be a friend of Dasuki's. This thing will go round and round and round,
well,
and we will never stop.
That's rumor.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There's always a stopping point when you say it will go round and round. If you decide to clean and you're sweeping from point A, you get to point B, and you have a clean house, isn't it?
If you only go to get a clean house if you have a system in place to keep on cleaning after you are not there, because you can't see everything.
You don't think we have the system in
I
place?
don't believe so. Because first and foremost, we have to look, if we want to get to the bottom of this, we must also look at the state governors who funded the APC. Because it is not only federal level that you get money. Do you know how much you spend on a gubernatorial election per state?
But this is
average of 4 billion.
say?
Where's the money coming from?
This is a starting point. In everything, there is a first cause, and this is the first cause. The arms.
Don't
scandal.
get bogged down with the first cost. That's all I'm saying.
But we're not done yet.
No.
Names.
We are
and
getting
names
bogged down.
They're still coming.
We are getting bogged down with the first. Let the president allow the FCC to continue to do his job, and let the president now focus on developing structures that will change the system.